Nope.
So welcome into the Protect kiosk here at the VMware booth. What we're talking about here is really protecting your data center and your critical applications, right? Things like EHR systems and things like that. And it's no secret, healthcare is a complex ecosystem, right? You've got millions of patients and clinicians using all sorts of different devices, accessing all sorts of different apps that are hosted, in a more distributed nature than ever, right? Some of them are hosted on premises, they're in private clouds, public clouds, you name it. And this creates a really big challenge in terms of security, right? Because how do you deliver this in a way that is meaningful and effective to all of these clinicians and patients, yet do it in a way that's secure? Part of the reason this is such a big challenge is because the way we've traditionally done security isn't really set up to support this new infrastructure, right? An application challenge. The perimeter, traditionally we focus on the perimeter, right? And what ends up happening is attackers find their way through the perimeter using a variety of techniques, right? Social engineering, if you were here for the Kevin Mitnick presentation earlier, you can check him out on the web if you haven't seen it. He talks about social engineering being the main way that people get into an environment, right? Whether it's spoofing an email to the help desk in order to get somebody's credentials, whether it's spear phishing, things like this, you name it, right? And what they're going to do is they're going to target either people or low priority systems. They're going to find their way into the network, and then once they're inside, once they're past whatever perimeter security you have, they're going to start moving laterally throughout the entire network, right? Moving from machine to machine. And up until now, there hasn't really been an effective way to prevent any of this, right? You can do it. There are ways to do it, sort of. They're not really cost effective. They're hard to do operationally. There just isn't a great way to do it, right? And if you're familiar with VMware, you know that we like abstracting stuff. We like virtualizing stuff, right? That's kind of what we're all about. And I'm going to build this slide because I don't like that it's a build slide. What we've done to address this problem of this, weak perimeter security that we find with most of our customers is we've taken a lot of the traditional and common networking security services and we've virtualized them, right? So things like routing and switching, load balancing, firewalling. We've taken those and we've embedded them directly into our hypervisor, right? And that allows us to take essentially the functional model of a VM, right? If you're familiar with how a VM works. We take the existing physical infrastructure, we abstract all the intelligence into software, and that allows us to add this abstraction layer, this virtualization layer, where we can build virtual networks. Virtual networks are a lot more agile because they're defined in software. They're a lot more secure, and we'll get into a little bit about that in the next slide, right? So with this virtual network, right, and these virtual security and networking services, what I can do is I can go deeper, right? And I can begin to what we call micro-segment the environment. And I can actually apply security policy at the individual VM level. So now when an attacker tries to get past the perimeter, and let's say they're successful, there's nowhere for them to go within the environment, right? They're going to end up going and hitting our firewall policies. And this is one of the main benefits, right, of this virtualized networking approach. This is particularly useful for things like EHR systems, right, which are very disparate. They're massive distributed systems that include a lot of different machines internally, and protecting all of that is very difficult, right? So this allows you to go in and get very particular, very granular in your security of those systems. One of the biggest questions we get is, well, okay, that's really nice. It would be lovely to be able to go and write all those policies, but let's be honest, we don't really know what our east-west traffic, that traffic between machines within the environment, looks like. The good news is we have vRealize Network Insight, right, which is a product that will allow you to map out all of that east-west traffic and can even go so far as to give you suggestions on which firewall policies you should be writing, right, security policies you should be writing. So this is more of the operationalization part of this story, but no less important because, that is one of the main things that we hear from customers, how do we actually do this? How do we, it seems like such a behemoth of a challenge, and it is, but it's worthwhile.